Hey guys, Marsing here bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle video, and so we got this hint for the upcoming Dokkan Fest yesterday with no other news today, so hopefully tomorrow we should see something. I guess it's technically tonight if you're in certain parts of the US. The usual time that things get posted is like 9 AM UK time, so obviously it's early Sunday morning for me. Because we know we have maintenance coming up at the beginning of this upcoming week. I imagine that it will probably be the case that the maintenance ends and then the banner comes out either that same day or potentially the next day. But the reveal will have to be before the maintenance, because the maintenance will include the actual adding of the new character into the game. So I just wanted to talk a little bit in this video today about the Timebreaker Battle celebration, or I should say, of course, the Transcendent Dokkan campaign overall, and just generally my thoughts on it. I want to know what you guys think about it. Let me know down below in the comment section, because I thought it'd be funny. I brought up this page. I didn't actually realize Minato made a video where this was basically the thumbnail, but it's always disappointing logging on to Dokkan info and seeing this as the thing, right, when you just know that there's no content upcoming currently. But this is the maintenance announcement that was in the news. This is obviously for global specifically. There will be maintenance on Tuesday the 30th until 5 AM UK time, so it's basically 4.5 hours long. This will lead up to essentially the time that banners do normally drop. I mean, with the Tanabata, the anniversary, GDC, things have kind of been a little bit up and down all over the place in terms of banners haven't really been coming out at the time that they normally do. And even some of the banners in the same celebration haven't been coming out at the same time. So usually the banners come out, or have been coming out, after the anniversary for the large part of this year up to the Global Dokkan campaign. Banners were coming out at 5 AM UK time. So this kind of makes sense for this maintenance to finish and then for the new celebration to essentially start on Tuesday. And I think this will be pretty much confirmed if we do indeed see the Twitter reveal of the new character tomorrow, or tonight, as I said, for those of you in the US. That should line up pretty well for Tuesday. But it feels like this week as a whole, like as an ending to the Transcendent Dokkan campaign, has been hugely disappointing, right? We got a stage of Infinite Dragon Ball history, and then basically that's it, right? If we take a look at the Transcendent Dokkan campaign category from the news update, now obviously it starts with part 2 stuff because it gets updated like it does in the in-game version. All the part 2 stuff moves up to the top, but part 2 started on the 12th, where we got the double rates banner and we got some other stuff drop at the same time. We got a new daily event, which has been decent for like link levels and getting some like items, meat items and stuff. We also got the Live or Die Predatory Planet event, which seemed like a really cool and interesting idea. I mean, technically, if you want to really split hairs and argue, when it comes to content pacing and like content releasing during this celebration, you can, of course, now always make the argument, thanks to this event, that since this event came out, we actually have had a new piece of content drop every single day, technically, because obviously it took like a stage of this was coming out each day. But I'll talk about that in a moment here. I've got a separate tab open for it. But we got the Easy A's a couple of days later, so we waited from the Friday to the Wednesday for the Easy A's, which, I mean, that's kind of standard. I mean, it's not too bad. Like if a new unit comes out on the Friday, you've got like the weekend to try them out in new events, and then the beginning of the week pretty quiet, and then we got some Easy A's. We are going to get some EX missions. I actually forgot about this. Some 10th anniversary special missions are going to be added on Friday. So that's going to be, oh no, this is the 29th of the 8th. That was me reading it wrong. So these have already come and gone. So yeah, a bunch of extra missions. Then we got nothing, essentially. We had the set of Dragon Balls again. Was it yesterday? And then yeah, nothing has really happened. I don't think, is the Infinite Dragon Ball history even listed in here? I don't think it is, right? So the pacing of the celebration has not been particularly great. To think it started on the 29th of the 8th. So we are 2 days away, essentially, from this celebration having lasted an entire month And during that month, we got the Dokkan Fest banner. We got some extra missions for some events. Obviously, all the sales and all this kind of stuff. We got the AGL Golden Frieza EZA, which was kind of like... I mean, he is good. I just think I wasn't super impressed with him overall. The whole losing damage reduction thing, whilst they improved on it, is still not ideal. He's a good EZA for sure, but definitely not anything super crazy in my opinion. Then we had the new Red Zone, the Pure Saiyans edition, which obviously they separated out the stages for this, which is kind of crazy when you look at it. It's like they basically waited like 12 days between the dropping of the stages, whereas like they've done different types of pacing in different events previously. I guess it's hard when they've essentially set aside and decided that this celebration is going to last for an entire month, but this is the kind of thing where it's like, we should get stage 1, then like 2 or 3 days later get stage 2, then 2 or 3 days later get stage 3, right? And just keep it sort of like progressing in that sense. Because it kind of felt like the 2 new stages would come out, you would do them, they weren't like super hard, especially stages 1 to 4, and then that's it, right? And you're back to waiting for the next set of stages to come out. Which I know is generally how Red Zone stages get released, but it just, I think in this celebration especially, with it being a full month, it's just felt like there was too many gaps in between things happening. And again, that can be down to things like Union Master stages, there's the Infinite Dragon Ball history, these things. A lot of stuff, they just make the same mistake in these celebrations in Dokkan, where they drop a ton of stuff on the same day. So it can be a little bit overwhelming for people that don't play the game a huge amount each day. And even for like somebody in my position, right? Like as a content creator, I want to make videos on the new events and the new stuff when they come out. And then so much stuff comes out in one day. I have to sort of like decide how to schedule having some videos come out on that day and then some videos come out the next day. Otherwise it's a case of, you know, I drop like 5, 6, 7 videos in one day, blow up everybody's like notification boxes and stuff, and then the next day there's no videos to make because you've made all the content, which I realize that's unique to a content creator perspective, but it is, like I say, if you are just someone who plays the game and you don't play a huge amount each day, you log in and there's all this new stuff to do all dropped on the same day, whereas some of this stuff could very easily just be spread out with things coming out like every couple of days, right? We had the intensifying fights, Super Battle Road, obviously we've had the festival missions, Battle Hard and Formidable Foes, the story revamp, burst mode, Petan Battle, a bunch of story events. Like when you scroll down the list, there's a decent amount of stuff on here, but I think the biggest problem with this celebration is just the same thing, the same mistake that Dokkan keeps making all the time, which is the pacing of the celebration. It doesn't even necessarily, if we stack up the content side by side with other Tanabata celebrations, I think overall from what people were saying, we've gotten less EZAs this time around, potentially, from last year. But like, it's the pacing of the content that is the issue. Like, even a celebration that potentially had slightly less content than this one did, like maybe take out one of the events, that can still be paced in such a way that it doesn't feel like there's a bunch of empty gaps, because realistically the end of this celebration has felt very, very empty. Like the last week or so, it feels like there hasn't been anything to do other than waiting for the last 2 Red Zone stages to come out. And then, you know, Broly is a pretty challenging fight, especially for some teams, but it's probably not the hardest fight in the game. The Kale and Khalifa stage wasn't particularly difficult, and obviously by them not having a specific mission, like a specific category that you have to use, meant that you could just use any team you want. So those kind of stages don't really ever pose a huge amount of issue. It's the missions for the tough stages that are really the problem. But yeah, honestly, for this last like week and a half, it's really felt like there hasn't really been anything to do in the game, which is really disappointing, because the Tanabata celebration obviously is not on the same league as like the anniversary or the Global Dokkan campaign, previously the worldwide. Those have always been like the 2 biggest celebrations, but the Tanabata felt like one of those ones that was like a step up from it's not just a filler Dokkan Fest, right? It was like something a little bit more special, especially because it featured a Dokkan Fest LR and then a Carnival LR. So it's not just a random monthly filler Dokkan Fest celebration, but maybe the issue is just the celebration lasting as long as it has. It does seem like, though, with this update, like I say, if this is when the new unit is going to come out, on the 30th, compared to previous years, this is like 3, 4 or even 5 days earlier than the Dokkan Fest has come out in previous years. So I guess if you look at it in that sense, the celebration actually is slightly shorter than it potentially could have been if we were making our predictions based on last year. But other than that, I feel like the content has been not very well paced out. Now, I wanted to talk about this very quickly because I saved up a bunch of these stages because I just hadn't been bothering to do it. And then I decided to jump in and just do them and check them out. And unfortunately, I was kind of hoping that, you know, the big thing when they talked about it on the stream was that each stage was going to get harder and harder until we got up to the end. And I was kind of hoping that this maybe would be an event where the very final stage would be super, super difficult. And my understanding of the event, I could be wrong, but my understanding of the event is that there are only the 14 stages, right? There aren't going to be any more. In fact, if we look at the missions, yeah, the missions only go up to beat stage 14. But if we look at the stats for stage 14, we've got 5 enemies, but not only do they not have a lot of HP, their super attacks do just over 1 million damage. So realistically, with any team that's even reasonably meta level, like, this event is obviously not difficult at all. Now, don't get me wrong, like, you know, I was the one with the expectation that hopefully it would be super hard, and it was obviously never intended to be an event that ended up being incredibly difficult. But it's just a bit of a shame, like, for something that was towards this last part of the celebration, as I said earlier, the only real thing that we were getting in terms of actually getting something new every day. I do still like that. I think that's a cool thing to do. It gives you a thing to do, like, when you log on, other than just doing your dailies. It's like, go check out the next stage of this event. But I think the downside is that they didn't really do anything special with it, right? Like, you're just always fighting these bug guys. They don't have any crazy mechanics. Like, imagine if one day one of the stages was like, it seals all your characters, or even there's restrictions for the categories that you can use and stuff like that. Something making it a little bit more of an interesting challenge every day, I think, could have been kind of cool. But overall, I'm still happy with the event. Like, it's cool that we got something like this, as opposed to a version of this event that only had, like, you know, 3 or 5 stages or something, that was all out on the same day, super easy, blast through it all and then have nothing else to do. But I just think overall this celebration suffers, as they always seem to do now, with pacing. And it was the biggest problem with the Global Dokkan campaign. I think the 10th anniversary, maybe it was just because it was the 10th and they were really trying, but I feel like the pacing in the 10th anniversary was super good. Maybe it's just looking back on it with rose-tinted glasses, but I've seen other people say the same thing, where it feels like something new came out every couple of days, whether it was a stage or an EZA or something, whereas recently the campaigns have felt a little bit more empty. And like I say, the biggest offender is that the last week or so of this campaign has just really felt like it's dragged, where, like, you log into the game, do your dailies, and then even if you have got time free to then, like, you just want to do something else in the game, like, there isn't anything else to do outside of obviously doing the new stage of this. Which is disappointing, right? As someone that's been making content on the game for years, I've been playing this game for years, I want to continue playing this game for years, it's always disappointing to get up on a day and just be like, yeah, there's nothing to do in the game. And, like, you know, I try and think of fun stuff to do, like doing runs against Broly with the different teams, but even that, like, views are kind of down recently. It feels like no one really cares about what's going on in Dokkan at the end of this campaign. So hopefully the next Dokkan Fest is going to be something more exciting. Hopefully it will finally be time for Dokkan Fest Baby. I still feel like that is the best possible estimate from this teaser, but hopefully we will find out tomorrow. And I will be live tomorrow morning, as I always am on a Sunday morning, for the weekend stream, and hopefully this news will drop while we're on stream, and Baby will be revealed and will be a super good extreme unit. And I guess we will have to see. But let me know all your guys' thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on this new, obviously renamed the Transcendent Dokkan campaign, the first year Obviously going forward, this is how the schedule will be. How do you feel this compares to previous Tanabata celebrations? How have you enjoyed the celebration overall? Let me know all of your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.